Vancouver, baby. Another day in Vancouver. I'm gonna go ahead, do some sightseeing, get some interviews where I can, and right now I'm just gonna get some breakfast. Last night had some crazy dreams where I just couldn't get the smell of rubber out of my nose, which is weird. And you know, I don't know if this happens a lot, but I also had this fear. I don't want to jinx it, but I had this fear of like basically losing a bunch of stuff, like losing my passport, losing my camera, and a whole bunch of other things. Also, turns out my original plan for this trip was to hop on a bus from Vancouver to Seattle and then fly from Seattle to Minneapolis and take the bus from there back home. Turns out the bus tickets, they were originally little over $200. I couldn't make it work. Bumped up to almost $405. So, to make a long story short, I had to pull a bunch of financial strings that I'm definitely going to be paying for down the line to get a ticket, basically a ticket from here back to. And I definitely learned a lot on this trip, in the sense that if you're really going to plan for something big, just because there's an opportunity to go somewhere relatively cheap, doesn't mean you got to take it. You got to plan for these kind of things. And while I don't regret coming here, I definitely am going to be, that lesson is going to stick with me for a long time. But for now, we're going to make the best of it. This is day 2. It's 9 here in the West Coast. And going to make some stuff happen. Right now, I'm just making my way over to one of the bus stops, or I'm going to find me what's called a Lime bike or scooter. They are a developing thing in Atlanta, but they're pretty much all over Canada in certain parts. So hopefully I'm going to go ahead and get one of those bikes, and mushrooms, which was another thing. I actually found a photo, or not a photo, but like a big ass Amanita muscaria mushroom growing by one of the trees where I'm staying. And there's a little baby one starting to grow too. Part of me was tempted to go ahead and pick it, but one, I kind of figured that's their property and they probably like those kind of things. And two, I don't want to mess with nature like that.
Oh, fuck's sake!
I'm sitting here. I don't know what sickness I got, but literally everything here at minimum is $20 or $10. Either way, that's crazy, dude. I thought the American dollar was weak. Damn. This right here. It's all the fish. Oh my gosh. All right, so second day here in Vancouver. I'm just gonna cut to the chase, man. It's great, fun, whatever. But I've got some complaints because I pulled out almost $200 in Canadian cash for, let me quote up, for a Sprite that I chugged because I had next to nothing to eat. I was just like, I got up, wanted to go do the journey, and I didn't get any interviews because it was just no one wanted to talk. I won't lie, I chickened out a lot of it. But for $20, this is the wrong receipt. Whatever. Either way, too damn much. For $20, 20 Canadian dollars, thing of toothpaste, because of course I forgot, some deodorant, and like Robitussin because the Canadian cold is starting to get to me, and I feel a lot better now. But like, dude, anyways, yeah, it's just it was expensive. A lot of those things, generally to me, it's just wild how economics work. There's another thing too. There is this app called Lime, where it's like basically bike sharing, scooter sharing in cities. I thought it was cool for a little bit. I enjoyed it somewhat, and then I get charged $10 for parking illegally when I wasn't parking. I couldn't. First off, here's the thing: if anyone who works at Lime would be watching this video for some reason, there needs to be something where I can actually pause my rides if I'm out shopping. Like I literally had to put the bike somewhere because I couldn't bring it inside, so I had to find a bike rack, put it there, and then go ahead and do my shopping. And I guess I was taking too long, so they decided to end my ride, even though I was still riding. Like, I forked over. I literally have put in $40 just trying to finagle this system, which shouldn't be that hard. And maybe it's a skill issue. I don't know. All I know is that I definitely do plan to be more aware of my spending, and I do want to do this again. And the lighting on this is awful. I'm gonna fix that next shot. But as it stands, Lime definitely needs to throw in some kind of system where I can actually pause things, or like maybe there should be more parking zones that aren't 300 miles away from shopping centers. Just an idea. And I know I'm sounding flustered, like I'm sounding ungrateful right now. And I genuinely could not be more endeared, or whatever term you want to use. Like I can't express enough gratitude to be able to be here to actually do these trips twice in a year. I can't express how wonderful that is. I'm learning a bunch of things. I've also learned, like, even coming across going over to East Hastings, which before I made this trip, I did some research. And I completely forgot that East Hastings is actually a pretty sketchy part of Vancouver. There's some videos I'll start showing. Some of them are mine, some of them are from other channels, of people just straight up doing fent. You could be walking with your family down East Hastings, anywhere around town in that area, and there's literally guys just hobbling over with a crack pipe and a lighter, and or they're in a scooter, whatever, just hanging out on the street. There's literally like even food trucks giving out like bowls of rice. Like I want to try some, but obviously I'm not in that position, and I didn't want to take advantage of that. But it's just wild to me, like that exists in certain parts of the country. But I know for a fact if I were to walk around in Philly with the camera, because these shots that are mine are obviously done incognito. I wasn't going to try to like make it obvious. I'm probably wrong for even doing that, to be honest. But if I wouldn't be able to do that by myself in any other part in the United States. But here, while I got some dirty looks, no one said anything. It's just wild. It's just crazy that, you know, because I've heard about it, I'm aware of the fentanyl issue, but I didn't think it would actually, I would see it. And there's tons of channels out there. In fact, I'll put one right here where there's people commenting on, like, you know, the Canadian government isn't really doing anything to help them. It's like they're slowly trying to kill off the poor population by just giving them what they want periodically, and it's disgusting. Like, it's like, yeah, sure, it looks literally disgusting, but it's also genuinely disgusting that this is taking place in Canada, in a country that, you know, I've not for the longest time as a kid or whatever, but I've definitely come to appreciate, the same way I've come to appreciate Mexico, the same way I've come to appreciate like Cuba, Jamaica, all basically that my neck of the woods when it comes to like the North Atlantic or whatever. But corny as that may sound, it was just mind blowing. And even though I got a lot more done than I could have done yesterday, than I did yesterday, there's just so much. I gotta script this, but I had to put this out here while the experience was fresh. I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy some beer here. Like this is Vorsteiner, but I'm also gonna get some Canadian stuff and that's that.